Hey, I'm not Jewish, right? But let's take a look at this for a second. Um, I know some people who never experienced living in a black culture or like married to a black person or understand the culture of being black or African American stuff, right? Let's do this for a second. I have heard through times and stuff that Cain killed Abel. Cain is the father of the Canaanites and stuff, and that's the African Canaanite is like was like an African area, or still is today to this day is an African area, like um, kind of like around Ethiopia that still have traditional religious um, if culture, traditional religious um, traditions, tradition, traditional religious practices. Okay, um, okay. Let me see what's going on right here. Okay, so to this day, when some people think of Jesus, they think of him as a white person, when indeed he's of Hebrew. He was a Hebrew man, but like those days, the Hebrew demographically was of darker skin, and I mean, when I think of Hebrew, I think of some of that time, someone who's more like Shazad Khan. You know what I mean? But Shazad Khan is much his hair is much straight. You know what I mean? They said the whole Christ hair was curled up. You know what I mean? Anyways, man, let me go forward. Okay, so they took Jesus to make him a white person because they really fear black. And I mean, because true, just pay attention to the Bible. Like Malcolm X said it the best. Like when you think of somebody with dark skin, you think when you think about black, you think it's cursed. You know what I mean? You know, when you think of swine, because you would say like, hey, he that person, his attitude is so swinish. You know what I mean? Or swine. Or when you think of swine, you think of something disgusting, right? If they could look at swine as disgusting, they and believe it. They could sorry look at swine as cursed and believe it. They could look at somebody who call himself black and believe it also. Like nah, black people are cursed. If it wasn't for Peter eating swine, to this day, nobody around the world will eat swine. Okay, in order for Peter now to get the permission, he had to have an encounter with God. If it wasn't for Peter having an encounter with God, to this day, we would have looked at swine as evil. Because even like Jewish tradition to this day, they believe that swine is evil. Muslims believe swine is evil. Rastafarians believe swine is evil. 'Cause it said it there in the Bible too. The hoof and the split hoof, all this definition they give about the swine stuff. And I mean, swine flu, you know what I mean? Or that judge, his attitude is hoggish, you know what I mean? Hog, swine, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. And they call that tradition, you know what I mean? So now they changed Christ from having a dark skin to white. That's tradition. I'm sorry, like that's just because my mom have pictures of Jesus being white. That's tradition, all right. And I'm just perplexed because like I know we live in the world that has both good and evil, good forces, evil forces, brightness and darkness, day and night. We love the light, but we hate the dark. Okay, I want to make a point real quick, right? In um, Hebrew tradition, like 70 CE, okay, Common Era, that's this time here. Um, the 70th century, four guys into an orchard called a Pardes, Pardes. Okay, one guy was okay. Akiva went last. Um, Acre, which is Elisha Ben Abuya, he's the third one. So I forget the names, but basically four Hebrew guys, right, went into the presence of God. The first one went, looked, and he died. He didn't come back. The second one went, he looked, he saw the Spirit of God. He went crazy. So powerful, he went crazy. The third one learned from the second one and chopped it. And chopped down they describe it as a plant. I mean, so he became evil. Because think about it, if you fight in the Spirit of God, you're evil, right? Except Jacob. For some reason, Jacob fought the Spirit of God and he wrestled with the Spirit of God and he just get to live about it. But in our common era, four guys had the same experience, right? So the first one died, the second one went crazy, the third one became evil, and the fourth one went and came back in peace, right? The message is basically if you go in peace, you come back in peace. But I'm gonna play Hollywood right now. I put a story to it, okay? They went in the sequence. So the first one went, died. Okay. The second one saw the first one died. You know what I mean? I couldn't really help it. You know what I mean? And probably was trying to run, but when you see it, you can't fight it anymore. You turn evil. Well, the third one was not. He learned from the second one because the first one dead. He saw the first one drop. He saw the second one go crazy. You know what? Common sense to say like you can't do what they're doing. So he probably just tried to chop it and so on to destroy it and so on because he got scared. Try to fight back. So he become because when you fight in the spirit of God, that's evil, right? So he became evil. He get to live, but he spent the rest of his life on earth as evil. The last one, he didn't get to witness any of that because he was protected by the third one. That's why for the rest of his natural born existence, this one is called the last one is called they're all rabbis, but the last one his name is called Akira, Akiva. Okay, his last one is called Rabbi Ben Akiva, and he was a living legend in Hebrew law. He was a living legend and stuff. Well, they call the one who chopped the plant down, right? They call him. His name is actually called Rabbi Elisha Ben Abuya. You want to know why he was considered the heretic, and he was also considered they didn't want to use his name anymore because when you fight God and stuff, and they got to keep you around, they got to kind of change up your image. You know what I mean? So they call him Aka or the other one. They didn't put him in jail. They didn't scorn him. You know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, between typically when you're evil, they associate you with hell, right? They said that, God didn't send him to hell, but he was not pure enough to come to the kingdom of heaven. So they put him somewhere in the middle, okay? And that was done so that he, in proper timing, God could Bluetooth his, Bluetooth to make a connection with him so that he could enter the kingdom of heaven, right? My Hollywood take on it is when they come back to Earth and stuff, okay? Because three came back, four left, three came back, okay? One went crazy, one became evil, and one was the living legend to this day that is honored among Jew scholars and so on. His name is called Akiva, okay? Rabbi Akiva. I think Rabbi Akiva because he was protected by Aka or Aka his life. You see, that's deep, right? Because think about it, to this day, nobody hates Aka. How come Aka sold out the Jews? That the destruction of the temple at that time was because of Aka. Aka sold out the Jews. He snitched. To talk about all the evil he did. He eat pork and stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe pork is something bad. I gotta look into it a little more. I don't know the truth, but I know as far as me being a Christian, I have no violation of pork because I gotta hold back on that one. Okay. Anyways, man, the story is, let's take on point. Akiva didn't hate Abuya, Aka, the other one, because he knew that if Aka didn't do that, he would not survive. That's the takeaway of that. You know what I mean? My buddy, my battle buddy Kerr, William Kerr, okay? Um, let's suppose that we not getting along. Let's suppose that he slept with my wife and stuff, okay? He slept with my wife back in Garrison. We deploy and stuff, right? And I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. You know what I mean? And um we out there fighting stuff, man. Somebody threw a grenade and he threw his body on the grenade. And I survived, but no, he is missing a leg or something like that. Wouldn't you be grateful for that guy? Because you came back home because of him. You came back. I know you are. I'm celebrated as a living legend, but my buddy is in a hospital, missing. His insides missing. Blah blah blah. Like he doesn't have a normal life anymore. Everybody looking at you as a superhero, but in back in your mind, the real superhero is William Kerr. I'm a superhero. A lot of people didn't employ. A lot of people didn't get hit with IEDs. I'm being tortured because for some reason, like I supposed to be a medicine, or for some reason, I shouldn't have a normal life. They treat me worse than Abuya.